Hi, my name is Nick Antonaccio. I am a professional guitarist with more than 3,000 live concert performance credits and 38 years of in-person teaching experience. I have a master's degree in guitar performance and wrote the accredited curriculum and required textbook for the largest university music school in the world. I've put together long-running programs for several additional public and private schools and have owned a successful full-time music lesson studio business for more than 20 years. I've been featured on the front page of the New York Times for building one of the first remote learning music programs, and I still work in person every day with real students of all ages and skill levels. I've taught thousands of beginners and numerous professionals, many of whom have studied consistently for years with me and achieved their goals. I'm creating this channel because I have some things to offer, which are different than most of what you see on YouTube. After nearly 4 decades of working face-to-face with students who really struggle to learn how to play guitar, I've gained some hard-earned, unique insights about what will actually work to help you get better. It may be surprising for you to hear that the number one thing which keeps student guitarists from improving faster is never performing. That's something I rarely see addressed in YouTube guitar lessons. What I mean by that is that so many students never play in front of other people, never play live with other musicians, never record, and never do all the things that are known to force a person to get better under positive pressure. I'm putting together this channel to help guitarists learn to use a simple looper pedal, to play alone, so you can play along with your own playing and truly approach learning guitar differently, in a way that will force you to experience the right aha moments you need to build genuinely useful music skills. Learning to use a looper can be one of the most enjoyable and productive ways to create effective music with a guitar. I use loopers regularly during professional solo performances and in live work when I back singers without a band. They are practical tools. Loopers enable a single person to sound and function like an entire group. They give you the opportunity to work as both rhythm and lead guitarist at the same time with very little relative effort for the effect they produce. You can begin learning how to use a looper immediately, no matter your skill level, and the sounds you'll create right away will be far more exciting than anything you can do just sitting alone with a guitar. Over the years, my private students have performed in many hundreds of regular jam sessions, recitals, and concert events, which have helped them forge real skill. There is no question that those events push people to learn how to play their instrument better. A first performance always hits players like a ton of bricks. That experience instantly changes perspectives and priorities about what's actually important in learning how to make music. I could sit in a studio for months with a student, trying to encourage and guide better habits, but every student will always learn and internalize more from a single live jam session, recital, or concert than I or anyone else could ever teach. So that's an important perspective, but there's another critical little consideration to understand about how most guitar students feel about their own playing. It's that sitting at home playing parts from songs without a group will never sound the same as playing together with others. So on top of never experiencing performance pressure which forces skill improvement, most students never, or at least only very rarely, get to hear their own guitar playing in the context of a band. This can be a huge source of misunderstood frustration. Very simple guitar parts can sound satisfying with the harmonic and rhythmic support of a full band backing, where they sound extremely dry and dull when played without bass drums and other instruments. Playing with a looper is the simplest way to not only hear parts in the context of harmonic and rhythmic backing, but also to experience the learning process which comes from playing with a band in jam sessions and in any kind of live performance. It provides a way to play in a virtual group made up of a single person, and it accomplishes those goals without ever needing any other instruments or people. The logistical headaches of scheduling, moving equipment, and dealing with artistic differences in a group are real challenges that even professional performers have trouble coping with. Most students don't have the time or drive to regularly keep up with or to even start dealing with the challenge of organizing regular band rehearsals and performance. Simple looped parts, played using one of these inexpensive little looper boxes, can be put together to make extremely interesting music with an effect that's similar to full band playing music together. The important part about it is that just like when playing with a band, you're forced to play musical parts all the way through in rhythm without stopping, and to hear and to be forced to interact rhythmically with your own playing. Looping forces you to listen, to really hear and think critically about why the sounds you make feel good or bad. Playing along with yourself forces you to naturally play in time correctly. Instead of someone having to tell you you're off beat, you feel it intuitively. When your own parts don't line up as you expect, you recognize and motivate yourself to play parts more rhythmically correctly. And that's often the biggest challenge students have, typically without ever even realizing how important that rhythmic challenge is to overcome. Conquering rhythm problems by practicing looping is infinitely more satisfying than sitting and repeating dry parts by rote over and over with a metronome. Looping naturally feels less like drilling isolated notes without any purpose and more like performing as a musician in a group. And looping feels so much more interesting than playing with boring backing tracks. It just takes you and a guitar. Looping gives you the chance to regularly experience that secret sauce which comes from hearing interlocking parts being executed together as a full performance. Complex multi-part soundscapes are just so much more fun and exciting to create than isolated practice parts. The great thing about looping is that you can practice it every single time you sit down to play guitar all by yourself. Most students simply don't experience enough of that sort of rhythmic and musical challenge and the satisfactions that come from experiencing that challenge on a regular basis. Regularly conquering those challenges successfully makes all the difference in ability improvement and enjoyment along the way. So, if you stuck with me this far, the point of this channel is to explore all the lessons there are to learn about guitar. Every technical, theoretical, aesthetic, and creative musical challenge, all using a looper to mimic the effects of playing a live performance and to experience the genuinely profound realizations that come from playing in performance environments, but without ever needing a band or a recording studio or to have to take part in jam sessions or public events. The videos on my channel start extremely simple, with some basics that anyone can practice their first day, even if you've never learned anything about how to play chords or scales. I want to be clear that I've gone through this process many thousands of times with students of every age, so I know really clearly what's going to be difficult for you. And I also know what will help you push through and successfully learn the most difficult skills on guitar, no matter your learning style or level of talent. I've worked for tens of thousands of hours personally with thousands of students over the course of decades and have seen every single thing that you're experiencing as a student over and over again. And I know what it takes to get past those difficulties and plateaus. From absolute beginner lessons, I'll progressively dive deeper into all the most complicated music theory topics and technical challenges that go into playing guitar. My goal with this channel is to cover everything there is to know about chords, scales, chord progressions, song forms, rhythms, licks, improvisation, writing, finger picking, playing with a pick, special techniques of every kind, equipment, recording, and everything else that guitarists really want to know about. I have a deep wealth of tools and materials that have been proven to be effective with so many students of all levels of talent who have studied for years and reached their goals in so many varied ways. Teaching guitar is hard and it doesn't pay well. So there aren't that many guitar instructors who've put so many years of life into developing learning solutions which actually work effectively for students in the long run. Many teachers give it a try for a few years or maybe even a decade, but few actually do it consistently for a lifetime. It is frustrating for me to see so many misleading YouTube videos, however well-intentioned they may be, about which ideas, which relatively experienced players think should work to get students to improve, without the experience to understand why those ideas don't actually pan out in the long run. It matters deeply what and how you practice. Perhaps you've already discovered that most things related to learning guitar are much more difficult to learn than anyone ever expects. And everyone needs to reinforce the same helpful learning routines over and over again for years in order to make real progress. And that process needs to be fun. It needs to be invigorating and rewarding every step of the way to actually make it to the finish line of achieving your guitar playing goals. It's really difficult to make that happen, but everything that I'll present on this channel is material which has been battle tested with thousands of students and which works to improve progress and ability in the long run. A lot of this material is hard to learn, but it's all effective at producing results. And if you do it with a consistent and progressive approach, it can be a ton of fun every step along the way. I don't have the best video editing and production skills to make my channel as flashy and exciting looking as others, but I can promise that everything I teach here is something that will help you improve if you just sit with a guitar and practice doing it. I'll explore all the topics on this channel with a focus on playing with a looper. So even if you never have any intention of playing a single concert or even jamming casually with another person, you'll get some of the same critical experiences you need to actually force improvement comfortably in a way that can be achieved. And you can do it all at home without ever needing expensive equipment and without anyone ever hearing you. The key is you'll learn to hear and play along with yourself and to make music that really sounds, feels, and is satisfying. If that seems potentially interesting, please take a look through some of my videos and ask questions in the comments. I am happy to make new recordings whenever anyone suggests a unique challenge related to their particular current learning path, no matter where it sits in the range of beginning to advanced skill. You can see my website at TheGuitarLoop.com for free downloads and tabs, and please like, share, and subscribe if you think any of my content might be useful to yourself or to anyone else. Remember, stay in the loop with The Guitar Loop. Thank you.